attention. Nobody told me to check my table.
I was gonna wait till the end.
Yeah. Nope. Nobody's paying attention to me today. So, all right, so now we're at the proper 40-inch SID. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my angle off. I don't need the angle anymore, okay? So to do that, I am gonna move this down a little bit since I'm gonna move up her leg. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see. All right, so this comes out. We're gonna go up to femur. I'm literally just gonna follow it on up. Now the other thing too that you can do on check-off day, so you're limiting how many times you're changing out. You can do all your 14s together, you can do all your 10s. So if you have knee and hip, obviously that's all 10. But if you happen to be one of the lucky ones that draws the knee, hip, and femur projections, do all your 10s first and then come back. Because you might have two projections of the femur, like AP proximal and distal or lateral proximal and distal. So again, push it all the way in, lock it. All right. I usually always start proximal. Okay. So I'll go ahead and open up my 17. I'm gonna go ahead and do my 14 for right now. Find her ACES right here. Okay. Here, I'm gonna go ahead, take my light field to the top of the ACES. And it ends up just on the medial aspect. ACES is here, central ray is here, and now it's gonna match the center of my femur. Okay, so I'm gonna have her rotate her toes just a little. Okay, I'll need a few degrees. I don't need here. Theo, good job on catching the shielding part. I got the SID part, but the shielding works too. So this here, this one's a little harder to shield for. Obviously, if we're doing knee, we're just gonna pop that right below, right over her. Now, if we're doing femur, this is a little bit harder to do because you're essentially only saving one ovary. But you try. You try. This is really literally the thought that counts. Sorry, so I have here, I don't need the full amount here. This here, if I have a little thigh, that's fine. And actually, I need to come over anyway. So, there we go. You are gonna have patients that it's literally just, you have here, you have ACES, and there's your central ray. Going straight down the long axis of your femur itself. So, open up just a smidge. Okay. If this little bit here is technically light field, that's okay. Not worried about that because her femoral head is over here. Okay. Marker, place right there in your light field. Okay. Make sure that toe is pointed about 10 to 15 degrees medially. Okay. Again, light field top here. Okay. So from here, again, femur, just tell them to hold still. Okay. Hold still, don't move. So from here, I will take my hand and put it at the bottom of the light field. We're doing distal, or we'll go to distal, okay? Because I want to make sure I have overlap, okay? So, all right, it's like, all right, your table's gonna go for a ride for a second. So I come up, and usually, most patients, you can go light field to light field and stop just shy. Still matching long axis of the femur, and that's what I'm looking for. Collimate just a smidge, not much. So if I want to come in a little bit, I can. Okay, so there you go. That's what I'm looking for distal. I want to make sure that light field, her patella is here. Okay, and now I definitely have tib fib here. Okay. I just typically do light, I stop just shy here, but you still have a lot of overlap, and that's key, okay?
So for checkup, you want showing the best of your capabilities?
Best of your capabilities. If you want, you can. You can't do that. But you also have to be careful even then, because if it ends up in a central anatomy, so you gotta be very careful with these. And it's going to be rare even when you do femur, just because you're only protecting one, it's it's very hard to do on these. So just to the best of your abilities. So, all right, that's distal femur. Okay. All right, now's the fun part, the lateral. So from here, questions yet? This is another kind of light week with positioning patients. As far as, like last week wasn't too bad when we did with the exception of the calcaneus. I think that's the biggest pain in people's butt. All right, so what I'm gonna get you to do now, I gotta get some side views of your leg. I'm gonna have you bend this knee up for me if you can. And can you just let it fall to the side? As much as they can, okay? So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and have her come back. I've changed out my cassette. I find ACES again, okay? Get light field top of the ACES. Okay. So this one here, I want as much as I can. So I'm going to rotate this way and center it up. So at this point, I can actually open it up. Again, because I still want soft tissue margins. I still have ACES and my light field, which is good. So if I needed to include as much as I could, I would do that. And again, matching the axis. Okay, that's what I want. So my marker. Oh, it's right here. It's under her foot. So this one here, you can either pop it here, or if you want, people are like careful because it ends up in essential anatomy if you try to park it here. So you can either park it on your cassette. Most of the time, just park it right here in your light field. Because I can actually open up to my 14 and I still have just enough light field and I'm good. It will make it on it, I promise. So, where's my other? I'm just gonna use this as a marker. So this is 14. So even though it's in here like this, I'm just matching the trajectory. That's all I'm doing. Okay. All right. This is your proximal. This is the easy one to get, the proximal one. Okay. Now most of your patients, as you saw, if she can slide up, but you have to be careful. So slide partially up to flatten out your femur for me. Okay. So you gotta be careful. So even if she can do this, I still have to slide her leg down some because I have to make sure I get this, okay? So at this point, I am gonna leave this just like this if I can get her to stay just like this, okay? Leave a collimator box in place. So now, I just need to get knee silhouette here, okay? You can see that I got a joint, okay? I'm going to center to my femur, okay? So if I need to match the trajectory, see how the trajectory changes when she flattened out, okay? So I'm gonna literally look and make sure I'm centered. Because this is the one time when you switch, tissue goes equal on both sides, okay? Same thing when they're AP. So I match that, light field, if I wanted, collimate just a smidge to the tissue margin, pop that right there for the lateral. And again, I'm not worried about this being in a perfect lateral of the knee, because I'm not doing a knee, just femur, that's all I'm doing, okay? That would be for distal femur, okay? Now if you have an extra patient, and they cannot hold this. So I'm gonna get you to go ahead and roll all the way up onto your right side for me. Bring this leg over, okay? So I can actually take this, have her bend. So, and this one, okay? I can still leave this because I'm still technically, always make sure this is matched up first before you start rotating this collimator box, okay? So I can do this. This is that one that you saw where if you end up with a little light field here, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. So I'm gonna have her flex her knee just a little bit more. Have her come up. And this is the distal portion. She actually has long femurs. You are gonna have patients with short ones where they try to do the proximal portion. I'm like, you're not gonna get the proximal portion that way. Not gonna happen. This is two ways to do that. And again, just match the long axis, pop your marker right in there. Okay. That would be for distal femur. There's 2 ways you can do the distal femur. Okay. Proximal, super easy. Frog leg. And even if you can't get all the way flat, it's fine. I'm still getting a good portion of that proximal femur. Okay.